Okay, so hi everyone. So today I just want to take a moment to let you know that today's lesson is brought to you by the number 48, because 48 is the number of subscribers I'm aiming to have on my YouTube channel after today. I'd like for that to happen, so at least one more. Make it to 48. Maybe you can be that 48th one. If you are, let me know. Alright, okay, so now to the lesson. Okay, so today we're looking at a game that was sent in by GothicChessInventor. His rating is 1665, and he is playing someone that is rated 1428. Okay, and so this was a 30-minute game with no delay or increment. So 30 minutes for the entire game. Both sides. Okay, both sides only get 30 minutes, no added time or anything. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so b3. Okay, this move, he just wants to put the bishop on the diagonal, get the long diagonal, and I myself, I've never really done this very much, but I kind of know the ideas behind it, and it's kind of one of those hyper-modern ideas. Just control the center from afar before putting your pawns, before advancing your pawns to try to control the center. And okay, so d5, yeah, if I was playing as black, that's what I would do. If my opponent wants to play hyper-modern, I'd say, okay, well, I'm going to go to try to take control of the center then. So d5 is what I would play. Bishop to b2, there we go, long diagonal. That was the point. We got the bishop on the diagonal, and okay, this move c6. I myself, if I was playing as black, I'd say, well, white is giving me an opportunity here. He's withholding his pawns, trying to wait, so I should try to be a bit more active. Maybe play c5 with ideas of knight to c6, and then try to play e5 and try to get a huge center. So try to play basically the exact opposite of what white is doing. He's playing more restrained, so I'm going to try to like take an initiative, since that would be my idea. Anyways, okay, let's get back to the game. Okay, e3 after c6. Okay, here we go. Knight to f6. Okay, good. Knight to f3. Bishop g4. Okay, we got this pin. And bishop to e2. Okay, just break the pin, prepare to castle. That's all so far. That's pretty good. Okay. Bishop takes f3. So, I don't necessarily agree with this, because he's voluntarily, without any real pushing or anything by white, not even an h3, no nudging by white to get this bishop to do anything, and black voluntarily gives up the bishop pair. That's something that I would hesitate to do as black, because normally I like to have the two bishops, unless the center's been decided that it's been closed, unless that's already occurred, and in this type of center, it's still kind of undecided. The center can change, so if the center can change, I kind of want the bishops. Because, if you can open the center, these two bishops are going to be more valuable than two knights. Because they're more longer range. Alright, okay. And e6. I do understand what black is trying to do, though. So, he puts all his pawns on white squares and gets rid of his light bishop. So I guess he's trying to say, well, you have a light bishop, and it's not doing anything because all my pawns are on light squares. So I guess that's kind of his idea. Castling kingside. Avoid a hassle, always castle. Knight b7, d4. Okay, and yeah, d4 is good. d4 is fine. I mean, I kind of... I dislike how it blocks the bishop, but, I mean, what else are you going to do? I mean, you could go c4, I guess. But I like the idea of going d4 and then aiming for c4. That's what I would do. That's what I would think to do. Okay, so knight b7, d4. So yeah, I like it. I think that's good. Okay, d4. Bishop d6. Yeah, you develop bishop. Now black has the option of castling. Okay, and this is the move that when I saw this, I didn't like it. So knight c3. So this move kind of creates some problems. This is kind of where a lot of the problems that I think that white gets into, I think a lot of it comes from this move, actually. Not like this move by itself, but like what this move, what like the chain reaction is from this move. Because what you need to be doing is, so like look at the position here. So we see two bishops and a knight versus a bishop and two knights. So what do you know about the two bishops? Well, the two bishops are long range. They control the long diagonals, whereas knights are a little bit slower. So if bishops are faster, knights are slower, you're going to want as many open lines as possible for bishops. And, you know, maybe a move like c4, you expand and try to create some pressure in the center to try to open things up, try to open some files and some lines. That's what I would aim for. Or maybe, I guess, possibly, maybe the knight d2 and then c4 if you want to develop a first. But you want to play c4. It's an explosive move, you know. And then, you know, c4. Get it? Anyways. Okay, so you want to play there and try to open some lines. Knight c3 makes that very difficult. Because now you can't really play c4. The only real break you would still have would be e4, which at the moment, you know, you could do next move, but I think c4, you know, you're gonna have to wait to play it. You could have played c4 immediately, and yeah. So the other thing is you could be hitting at the center with a side pawn. Maybe you could get, you know, some pressure from the side on a center pawn. Maybe potentially even get an extra center pawn. You know, if he takes, and you can take back, and then you have pressure on the center. Then you have an extra center pawn, or well, not an extra, but you have you could potentially get your pawns closer to the center. You know, maybe trade your b if he trades. Say he trades, which would be bad. But if he does, then you know you got these guys here controlling the center. So that's what I'm kind of referring to. Oops, wrong arrow. And these pawns are, you know, controlling the center. Okay. Okay, so where was I? Knight c3. Anyways, I like this move. Kind of led to some of the things that happened later. Because of the pressure on the center, you know. And also, here's one other thing. This king is castled. This king isn't. If your opponent's king is still in the center, you should try to put as much pressure on the center as possible to try to create tension, to make it more difficult for him. Queen c7. So, creating a battery. Now you got queen and bishop against h2. So, I think that the move that he plays, g3, was the right choice, because sometimes it can be difficult to tell, should you close the diagonal by playing a move like g3, or should you just move the pawn out of the attack? And I think that he makes the right choice here, g3, in this case. Okay. h5. So, black hasn't castled, and so he's using this rook on the h file to try to open it. And he's going to try to push this pawn and, you know, make this rook active. And, you know, maybe castle queenside instead. You know, most of the time people castle kingside, but it's going to castle queenside. Okay. And so this is another thing. This is all part of the knight c3, I say that's kind of where this all started happening. Because when knight c3, you know, instead of putting pressure on the center, that kind of gives black some time, you know, with the center not being open and not as much pressure on it. he doesn't, have to worry about his king as much. He can he's given a little bit more freedom. If the center was under some tension, maybe he doesn't always get the time to play moves like this. And he does meet, but he does meet this threat in the proper way. So, e4. If your opponent is attacking on the wing, you should be going for the center. That's usually the best way, deflecting any type of attack anywhere. If your opponent's attacking on the side, attack the center. D takes e4, knight takes e4, knight takes, bishop takes, and h4. Yeah, so maybe you want to take, then the rook's on the open file. Queen g4, and here we have castling queenside. So now the black king is castled over here. White doesn't exactly have any immediate pressure going on over there. Whereas black already has this pawn advance. He's already pawn storming. And yeah, so it's a little bit difficult. And this choice here, queen takes on g7. So queen taking on g7 is a bit risky, because if your opponent has castled on an opposite wing, like look at these kings. So king side and queen side. Kings are on opposite sides of the board. And battles with opposite side castling, and where the kings are on different sides of the board, a lot of the time what really matters is attacking. Like, if you can start attacking your opponent and your attack starts to break through, you will very likely get some type of winning attack. And so taking a pawn that opens a line for your opponent to use to attack may not always be such a good idea. Even though you're winning a pawn, it may not be the best, because material isn't as important in opposite side castling, because it's less likely to make it to an endgame. In an endgame, that pawn's going to be very useful, yes. An extra pawn up in an endgame, yeah, it's very good. But in opposite castling, sometimes material doesn't really matter so much. If you can sacrifice to get an attack started, very good, because it's usually pretty good, because if you can checkmate, then you can win most of the times in opposite side castling. Yeah, and so that's a little risky to take a pawn right there, to open this g5 for the rook. Okay. Rook g8, or rook d g8, I should say. Queen takes f7. H takes. F takes. And bishop takes on g3. So notice that you can't take this bishop, because if you do, queen takes g3, and you're getting checkmated. Yeah, so not very advisable. It's usually a good idea to avoid getting checkmated. So rook to f3, good move, and bishop takes h2. So right here, actually, the points are actually even if you count points. But yeah, this is not very safe for the king. And you got these rooks that are looking pretty good, and so that's it's not very safe. Okay, king f2, rook f8, queen g7, rook fg8, queen f7. Okay, and so actually I could have repeated again, but good choice not to, because if your opponent's king is weak, then you don't want to go for repetition. Okay, king e2, rook h2 check, king f1, okay, king f1, and rook hg8, queen takes e6, and yeah, so another pawn grab. That pawn probably is okay though to grab, because that way you do get some compensation for your troubles. as in very active rooks, and whereas your rook is not so active. But even so, still this is pretty dangerous. But you do have pawn, so you can say, well, if I can survive, then endgame's favoring me. Bishop f4, bishop f5, king b8, and queen takes d7. Okay, and right here, when I actually looked at this the first time, and I saw queen to a5, I actually, when I saw this was the move that was played, queen to a5, I actually, when I looked at it, I was immediately thinking queen takes d7, because I saw a favorable endgame that I liked. That's me, I like endgames, so usually I see the comfortable endgames first. Yeah, but anyways, and then after this, I saw that this was a pretty nice endgame. So this is what I saw when I saw queen taking 1d7, and this is kind of the position I had envisioned. Yeah, after this, well, this bishop is attacked, and you got mate threatened here. And this rook on the 7th row is going to be pretty powerful, and black has a very active position where the white king is going to be pretty passive. Also, this rook hasn't ever moved yet, and so this endgame could be pretty comfortable for black. Of course, this gives a kind of a smaller advantage than what the game continuation would have allowed for. But yeah, so in the game, this move is actually better. So this move, queen to a5, which I actually didn't see at first. Okay, because here's kind of the threat. So here's the threat. So let's make a bad move for white. So bad move, a3. So where does white play? Oh, actually, here's a chance if you want to pause, you can try to find checkmate in 2. Okay, but anyway, so checkmate. Okay, rook h1, and then king e2, queen d2. And this is one of, there's a few other variations, but anyways. And so that's one of the dangers. But yeah, obviously there's some other techniques, but that's just one example. But yeah, you're not very safe if a3. Yeah, and let's see, if king here, you would have this. And if king g2, you also have this. Okay. So those are some checkmates that could happen. Those are some threats. Let's go back here, queen a5. And the move that, yeah, what did black play? Or what did white play after black played queen a5? Okay, c3. Closing the tag. So the queen can't get in. Okay. And the rook takes the bishop. Okay. Rook h3. h3. e8. Okay, and here, I actually don't know why black played this, because black doesn't want to go for exchanges. I mean, this king is a little bit weak, so this probably was a little bit inaccurate, because I think that this allows white a little bit of some freedom. I mean, right here, this rook is powerful. Okay, so compare, like look at this rook. The 2nd and 7th rows are where rooks usually like to be. And right now, this rook is very happy here. Whoops. Let me play that. Okay. Okay. And so, yeah, so this rook is very happy here. You don't want to exchange it for this rook. He doesn't want to do that. Why would you exchange it? This rook is also keeping this king down, limiting his squares, and so why do you want to exchange off rooks? Why do you want to let white free up his position? That makes his life easier. And so that was a little bit inaccurate. So, okay, b4. And let's see, queen to c7. So this is also not so great, because you don't want to exchange queens if you're black. You're down a pawn. You exchange queens, you go down to an endgame where, you know, you're going to be suffering a little bit. I mean, yeah, maybe you're not lost, only down one pawn. Maybe, you know, you can draw, but at the same time, you're fighting for a draw then at that point. If you have queen's on the board, at least you have some activity based on this king not having much cover around these squares. I mean, look at no pawns. So probably not the best way to play. Okay, bishop takes h2, king e2, activate the king. King to f3. And then let's see here. So coming up, I think players may have been running into time trouble because I think they may have been coming up on the time control here because a move like that, a move like rook e8 instead of taking the bishop, and it seems like the only reason for that is maybe severe time trouble or a mouse slip if they were playing online. I think this game was online. I think. Anyways, I forget if he said in the notes he said this game was where this game was played. I don't know if he said. Maybe he didn't. I think it was played in some type of tournament. I don't know if it was an online tournament or not. I don't know. If I remember correctly, that is. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyways, so they may have been coming up on time, and that's why it's sometimes in here. This I don't really understand that. And it's rook h6, check, and then king c7, rook h7, and here's what the game is. So yeah, so coming up at the end, overall black played pretty well throughout the game. Well, both sides played well throughout the game, but we're at the end there. It's kind of a sad ending because I don't know, just rook e8. I don't really get that why that was played. Anyways, but say they had more time. If you go back here, like say we go back, let's go back to where that happened. So at this, yeah, okay. So right here, what was it? Rook h2, yeah. At rook e8, say we play this. This isn't necessarily lost for black. I mean, down a pawn, yes, but what do we have here? Maybe somebody would recognize this as. We have 3 pawns and 4 pawns, so we have the rook 3, rook 4 endgame, basically. I mean, so this is actually a very important type of endgame to know, where it's 4 pawns versus 3. This type of position is very, very important to remember. If you can remember it, then you can save a lot of endgames where you're down a pawn, because theoretically, obviously, white has some pressure, but I'm pretty sure that in most cases this type of position should be drawn. I mean, if you're only down a pawn, I mean, in most cases, usually you can draw positions like this. Most of the time. Anyways, so I highly recommend you look up the rook 3, rook 4 endgame. Because if you can learn that one and you can master it, then that makes your life a lot easier in endgames. But also, one other thing about this position is, say we got rid of the rooks. Say, somehow black was able to exchange off the rooks down a pawn. If we had these bishops opposite color, that makes it almost impossible to win. 1 pawn, sometimes even 2 pawns isn't it. If you have 2 extra pawns, sometimes that isn't even enough in some opposite color bishop endgames. Anyways. Okay, well, I think that covers this game pretty thoroughly. Okay. Well, anyways, okay, so let's actually leave it with the final position. Okay, so this was the final position in the game. So okay, that's gonna be all for this video. So we had some useful things that we learned from this game and that we got to look at. Okay, so until next time, thanks for watching and send me more games.